It was more than an alley, but your average sleeper wouldn't know it. Walking the streets of Boston for the first time in years, Odra saw the city for what it was to those like him with the sight. Being awakened and walking the path of pandemonium, a Mystigos, his view of the city was one of imprisonment and fettered hellfire, one a sleeper would never bear witness to. Long, red-hot chains hung from door to door, cast iron padlocks sealed with arcane symbology. Oh, the symbols. Those little portents of the supernal peeking through the lie. The fallen world. He dragged his fingertips across the chains as he walked, painless sparks flying as flesh met ore. All locks, all lies, and here, all his. Deciding he had killed enough time, he visualized vast, leathery, veiny wings and gave them one fierce flap. In the backdraft, the symbol to his old sanctum was pulled to him, and he grasped it. A simple twist, and in the fallen world, the doorknob turned. A step forward, and though mere seconds ago he had been miles away, he was home. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Botch Pit. I'm Chris, librarian of the pit, and I'm here to rectify an egregious mistake. Back in 2018, when we had just gotten started going on, one night while getting my ass kicked by a serious cold, I went into my basement and off the top of my head, unscripted, made my initial guide to Mage as an overview. It was wrong, and I'm here to correct it. I had been under the impression that the only real changes in Mage were slightly mechanical, and we were in far more of the same. Atlantean orders, ladder climbing, world-shattering calamity caused by a ravenous appetite for power, etc., etc. How shockingly and refreshingly wrong I was. Gone is the steadfast Atlantean heavy-handed backstory, now relegated to an optional theoretical and unproven history. What was once a pale reflection of how awesome Mage the Ascension was has finally truly grown into its own excellent game. Featuring a completely overhauled spellcasting system, lore based on hidden worlds and mysteries, and actual motivators, well, as a Mage fan in general, I was squealing. A second here while I name a few inspirations, both of my own and noted in the book. To anyone who knows me, I'm a sucker for Hellblazer comics and Vertigo in general. John Constantine is a perfect example of a Mystigos Path Mage, of either the Mysterium or Guardians of the Veil orders. Read through. He quite often tries to keep people ignorant of the magic that is out there, quite aware of the ruin it can bring to not just your life, but others. Another is Books of Magic, also from Vertigo. Ever read Harry Potter? Yeah, she straight jacked that shit from here. Don't believe me? Google Timothy Hunter Books of Magic. Go ahead, I'll wait. Another good Vertigo inspiration is Preacher. Any mage specializing in the mind arcana without an order, pissed at God and looking for answers, it clicks nicely. Wait, well, I just noticed all my inspirations are from Vertigo, that figures. I apologize if bits and pieces sound similar to what I said in 2018. I do stick by a few factors which I'll discuss here, but theme is everything to a game and this drips of it. Enough apologizing for now, allow me to make good on my proposal and hit this game with an overview that is extremely overdue. Here we go. The Awakening. You wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and you drive past billboards you don't read to work beside people you don't like, at a place you don't want to be. Your boss is an entitled prick, your girlfriend barely even tolerates you, and your friends are boring troglodytes that want to do nothing aside from hang out Fridays, drink, and play Xbox. Perhaps they'll shake things up and talk about the game last weekend in preparation for the game this weekend. Fucking exciting. But this Thursday, it's different. You wake up as normal, but you had vivid dreams last night. You typically never remember your dreams. Driving on the expressway, you don't turn on your typical music, instead rolling the windows down, allowing the wind to scream at you at 90 miles per hour. The billboards, you could swear they're singing. You get to work, but you're not in control of your steps. Your boss, adorned in a crown of staples and paperclips, demands you go back to your cubicle and obey his whims, sorting royal decrees. You toss him the figure and get back in your car, now a muscled steed, and you thunder back home. Your girlfriend, she comes at you. It's all anger, regarding your lack of organization. You smile at her and shrug. Confused, but it's your disposition today, she shrugs back. You make love instead of fighting, and shortly your friends, knights, arrive. They throw you your blade, all black and neon green, and one of those billboards storms to your dwelling, towering over your domicile. You have a moment, the briefest of moments, to decide whether to flee or fight. You stand at the precipice of something, knowledge and power, or fear and weakness. You storm the beast, burying the blade deep in its black heart. Pain, a stinging, glittering shock of agony in your palm, and a strange symbol lights up, the beast shrinking down. The sword, your Xbox controller, is singed and burnt, but you know it is different. Marked. You took your place, earned through confidence and bravery, and just like that, you've awakened. The Lie. Welcome to being one of the Awakened, those touched by the realm's supernal and life in this world. Called the Fallen World by the Awakened, well, it sucks to be blunt. There is a realm called the Realm Supernal that is an amazing place of pure magic and wonder, and we'll get to that, but this isn't it. The Realm Supernal is hidden, locked away under a bullshit realm of fallacies, where we live, and that is the Fallen World. There are beings in the Supernal realm called Exarchs, and their primary goal is keeping all Supernal to themselves. The lie benefits them mostly for reasons all their own, but whatever they may be, it was important enough for them to create an entire false reality over it, obscuring it from normal view. But while it can be hidden from most, it cannot be hidden from all, and the Realm Supernal still pushes through. To the Awakened, with their magic flavored through their respective Supernal realm, they channel it like a conduit. They have not just the ability, but the unavoidable burden of seeing the world as an entirely different place. A place somewhat more similar to what it really is. A massive part of the allure of the Supernal is the mysteries. See, this is one of my absolute favorite additions to 2nd edition. With the clarification that the Exarchs created this vast lie to hide the Realm Supernal, mages are quite attracted to the little fallacies and contradictions popping through the fallen world, often drawn into Scooby-Doo supernatural mystery solving. For some reason on a specific street, at a specific time, everyone walks backwards. Near the strange horse statue in the center of town, birds keep dying and people keep falling, breaking their left wrist. Airplanes leaving from a specific airport never quite reach their target locations, landing at location miles away. You may be wondering how, if all this madness can happen, how is nobody aware of it? It's called quiescence, and it causes all sleepers to forget and or ignore any touch of the supernal realm around them. They may flee hysterically, but a short time later they will forget what they saw entirely, or rationalize what they saw. There's no way that was a giant fireball. Had to be a red weather balloon. Had to be. Fortunately for the Awakened, there's always plenty to do without hassling the sleepers. Symbols and sigils are everywhere, arcane tongue and imagery representing the Supernal in the fallen world. The Awakened learn how to manipulate, alter, and understand these truths poking through the lie, and work their will through the Supernal in the fallen world. While the Supernal realm is used as a generalized term, there really is multiple varying realms, all existing together and separate at the same time. Remember, distance and specific locations are a lie, but no worries, we'll get to that. In fact, let's get into discussing the different supernal realms, or paths, that the Awakened walk based on their method of awakening. The paths. As I just said, based on their method of awakening to the truths of the realm supernal, each Awakened has a specific realm their names are written upon, and through which their methods of casting magic in the fallen world are channeled. Think of them like conduits of magic from the supernal to the fallen. It may also be noted that there are rumors and tales of other supernal realms of magic, but none either know or talk about it. They just have the good sense to not discuss the matter. After all, knowledge is power. The first path is the Acanthus, also called Witches and Enchanters. These fate and time arcana-driven Awakened have an affinity for Arcadian magic, pulled through the realm of fairy. To be clear, unlike what was inferred in 1st edition, they do not pull magic through the Arcadia of the True Fae. In fact, mages should have absolutely nothing to do with Arcadia of the True Fae. At some point, Nick will talk about that, but they end up... It goes real bad for mages in Arcadia. Instead, it's more of an affinity, a likeness, and these mages dance to a remarkably similar tune to that of the Fae from Changeling the Lost. Bargains and payments are the rule of the day, not one-sided adulation as the book puts it. The next path, the Mystigos, are easily my favorite. Hope you aren't expecting an unbiased opinion, but look at my inspirations, this cannot shock anyone. Also called Warlocks or Psychonauts, these Awakened utilize the mind and space arcana. They have a strong disdain for social or spatial conformity, and they wear this proudly on their emo sleeves. If you are haunted by demons, be they psychological or otherwise, these are the people you call for help. Understanding that distance is just another part of the lie, and that the mind holds realms upon realms of their own, they seem to pull their magic through the supernal realm of Pandemonium, home of demons and haze. They treat both demons and gods not as deities, but states of mind, and though they treat these deities with the respect they deserve typically, one wonders how arrogant one must be to meet a god and believe that you invented them. I love them so much. Anyways, next up is the Moros, also known as alchemists or necromancers. They dance with the death and matter arcana, understanding that physical states are a lie and all things degrade and are reborn in time. They believe that change is the rule of the day, and death is just another form of that. After all, matter never disappears, it just changes form. Death is just the first phase of life if one were to wax too philosophical. Their magic is associated with the realm Stygia, or lands of the dead, or the lead coin, etc. There really is no shortage of ways to relate to them. These Awakened traipse through Twilight as if it were the regular fallen world, associating with ghosts and mysteries well beyond the lands of the living. To most of the living, anyway. Following the Moros quite inversely, we have the Obrimos Awakened, also called Thaumaturges or Theurges. Theurges? Yes, Theurges. Sorry. To the Abrimos, magic is an act of faith and fucking explosions. They typically worship God or storms, recognizing that raw power needs to be channeled responsibly or in the name of a great cause, like explosions. These awakened are masters of the forces and prime arcana, and they believe that quite often the best way to fight the lie is by rattling a few cages at the right times, with explosions. Finally, we have the Thyrsus, also known as Shaman. They associate their magic with the realms of spirit or nature. They believe that fallen, or not, the world is screaming, and you have a responsibility to listen. They utilize the life and spirit arcana and can traipse through the gauntlet the same way a Moros can go through Twilight. However, be wary. The denizens of spirit are not nearly as morose as the lonely dead residing in Twilight. The Orders. While the Awakened walk a specific path of awakening and magic, that is not nearly the only way the Awakened are categorized. The Awakened have a society to themselves, and it is rife with mystery and potential. Each serves a purpose, for better or worse, and while an Awakened can choose to work independently, well, that's really foolish. Even the newest initiate to an order gains access to rotes, grimoires, or even more importantly, allies. All things beyond useful to even a master rank magus, let alone initiate. The original 4 orders are called the Diamond, supposedly dating back to the formation of Awakened Society, theoretically Atlantis. Hence why so often the Awakened are called Atlanteans, though this can't be proven, thank God. Sorry, I did not like the premise in first edition. Regardless, the original 4 of the Diamond were the Silver Ladder, the Mysterium, the Guardians of the Veil, and the Adamantine Arrow. Sometime later, another society of mages formed and came up called the Free Council, formed of all the stragglers and those desperate for an awakened democratic society. And then we have the Seers of the Throne, antagonists of the Pentacle, and we'll touch on them briefly, but for now, let's hit the orders in no particular order. Orders. Kill me. Anyways, the Adamantine Arrow believes that challenge and adversity breeds strength. Virtue untested is worthless, as they say, and they live by example. Consider them your warrior awakened, bodyguards, that sort of thing. The Guardians of the Veil believe magic is fragile and is not meant to be there just for anyone to take. You need to work for it, and not through adversity, but more so through testing and tenacity. They build fiction after fiction, sorting through the unworthy and protecting magic through, bullshit. Many a mage even has fallen into their grandiose manipulations, called the Labyrinth, only to in turn end up in another of their games. And now for my people. The Mysterium, or the Best Order, no bias here, is based on a belief that magic is alive and hiding. Here are a few brief snippets from the book. Knowledge is power, knowledge must be preserved, knowledge has a price. As any fan of Changeling or Once Upon a Time will tell you, magic always has a price. These are the Indiana Joneses of the Awakened, climbing through forgotten tombs or even the underworld, seeking out long-lost grimoires and relics. They also have the best libraries, easily. The Silver Ladder believes that access to the realm supernal is the right of humanity and it belongs in their hands. They nudge sleepers towards awakening as best they can, even going so far as creating cults that push them in the directions the latter believe will get them closer to awakening. Those are the 4 original Atlanteans, or Diamond. However, they allied with another group called the Free Council to form the Pentacle, a 5-headed unified force against the Seers of the Throne. The Free Council is a democratic group of awakened, attempting to bring magic and technology to the mainstream. Founded initially as the Council of Free Assemblies, they wish to exist outside the Diamond as their own modern libertines, attempting to drag the awakened out of musty study halls and into rebellion against conventional ideas. And I'm not sure where they went from being total shit in first edition to being kinda cool, and it hurts to say that. Then we have the Seers of the Throne. These bootlicking shitheads seek to heed the will of the exarchs in the realm supernal, who mostly communicate through symbolism and bullshit. They reinforce the lie, seeking to keep humanity unaware of their potential and the realm supernal beyond their ken. Worst of all, they're winning, or they've already won. As far as the base books go, these are the main factions, though there are some other things to discuss regarding that topic in another guide. But this guide is already running longer than I expect to, and we're not done yet, so let's talk a little bit about the magic itself. The Arcana and the 13 Practices. One does not simply throw an Arcana down on the character sheet and call it a day, casting rotes and spells as if they were some basic bitch vampire game. This is awakened technique, symbology and arcane will-working pulled from the realms beyond mortal ken. Show some respect. Of course, I have done some more in-depth looks at magic in other guides, so I'll not be going into the Arcana here. I'll link to the guide to the Arcana below, and if you feel it needs an update, let me know in the Discord. I'm the librarian and the mage guy everyone targets all at once. It won't be hard to find me. Once more to be clear, I'm not going heavy into the practices here either, as I have an upcoming guide to them. Paradox, the Abyss, Reach, all sorts of stuff. Mage is quite a chunky game, and that's my focus right now as far as Chronicles goes. At learning how to cast a compelling, knowing, or unveiling spell, you earn the rank of Initiate, which is knowing how to use 1-dot spells. This covers pushing little details your way and using magic to see things as they truly are. Upon using ruling, shielding, or veiling spells, you earn the 2-dot rank of Apprentice. At this point, you can influence compelling type spells further, protect yourself using magic, or how to obscure yourself with it. Using fraying, perfecting, or weaving spells earns you the 3-dot rank of Disciple. You can now blatantly cause someone bashing damage, enforce spells or items, or begin minorly altering properties of things, like turning steel into liquid metal. Using patterning or unraveling spells, you earn the 4-dot rank of Adept, and you're getting quite scary. You can now transform properties of things and start causing lethal damage. Lastly here, using a making or unmaking tier spell earns you the rank of Master. You can now completely create things from nothing or remove entire things from existence. What I really like about the practice aspect of spellmaking now is the roleplay elements this creates. There is now a desire to use creative thaumaturgy in new and inventive ways, seeking to bolster your reputation within an order or group, bartering technique for knowledge or whatever you want really. This is a previously unseen level of roleplay depth from a mage game of any kind. Yes, Ascension was more easily malleable, but it was hardly more fun to roleplay out. Awakening now incorporates that theme of reality being a lie by literally calling the fallen world a lie. It's the best of both worlds. In closing, there we have it, a far more thorough breakdown of what exactly Mage the Awakening 2nd Edition is. This has finally grown into its own as a premier game of modern sorcery in the Chronicles of Darkness. This is what happens when a game matures and realizes what exactly it was supposed to be. For years now, I allowed this game to fall to the side and not give it the attention I had no idea it was demanding from me. You'll notice that though I've made guides detailing aspects of casting spells and the arcana and whatnot, that I have not yet released my guide to actually casting. I want to make sure I'm getting it right, as there are a ton of bits and pieces I can't even get into here. I'm making it sectional, so that if there's a specific aspect of it giving you trouble, you can go right to it without listening to a 3-day long guide. As said, this game is super chunky, and I'm beginning to love it for that. Symbology, arcane knowledge, mysteries, there's just so much fun packed into this edition, and I sincerely regret not having delved into it sooner. Mage is back, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's all for this guide. Thank you so much for listening. Like and subscribe. I hope you found this guide way more enjoyable. Hop on our Discord and let your future guide desires be known. And you make sure to have a great night wherever you are, above or below.